Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, the most important set that was released for Dungeons & Dragons this year, okay? But wait a second, Scott. Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, that's not a Dungeons & Dragons set. No, it is not, right? However, it is a Magic the Gathering set, and Magic the Gathering is canon to Dungeons & Dragons by multiple sets, right? But Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings is not a canon Dungeons & Dragons set yet, right? And that's why we're talking about it today, is something just happened which dramatically increased the possibility of Lord of the Rings becoming a Dungeons & Dragons canon set, okay? And that is Hasbro, Chris Cook, he had an investors meeting for Hasbro. Right? Now it's really interesting. Like Magic the Gathering, it's absolutely incredible. I'm just so fascinated by Dungeons & Dragons canon. Right? You cannot discuss Dungeons & Dragons canon without discussing Magic the Gathering. Those products are mixed forever. Their canon is mixed forever. They are no longer separate, right? They might have a set or two that are more distant realms, right? But they are not separate, right? Like, and you're like, well, what about Universe Beyond? What do you think they built D&D Beyond for? Doesn't Universe Beyond connect to D&D Beyond? I thought it did. Tell me if I'm wrong there, right? So, I mean, they've built every single possible way to make you understand by package, by lore, by promotion, that Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons are one product. They're not distinct, right? They've just made so many attempts to make that crystal clear for every player and every dungeon master, every dungeon performer and every dungeon master, in my humble opinion, right? So what did Chris Cook announce? Well, he said, hey everybody. It is paraphrased, but he's like, hey, about 6 months ago, we talked to the Tolkien estate. We're like, hey, we heard you guys are interested in a pile of money. We got those, right? Here's 5, 10, 15, 25 million. They probably paid them, right? So he talked about, just Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, right? And I think the way this got set up was that they went to the Tolkien estate, and Hasbro was like, hey, we'll drop 5 to 25 million on you now, okay? We'll print your... We will turn Lord of the Rings... We will turn your Lord of the Rings setting into a Magic the Gathering setting, right? By the way, Magic the Gathering is canon to Dungeons & Dragons, right? I think they didn't say that part. They didn't tell that to them, right? And trust and believe, nobody at the Tolkien estate is looking up the details, right? They're like, wait, 25 million? I think that's what the initial pay was. The initial payout was, right? So then, right? You get to the point where, and then they printed the cards, right? And that means after the first 3 months of that print run, they're going to be going to the Tolkien estate. They will probably fly there on a Learjet and go, here you go, $17 million, right? 27, 37, right? Some mammoth multi-million-dollar amount from the largest sale. Lord of the Rings outsold every single set that has ever existed for Magic the Gathering, and including the Dungeons & Dragons Magic the Gathering sets, right? In fact, it probably did more than all of them combined, right? So it's a huge, so basically they're going to, and Cook was like, we're going to be going to the Tolkien estate, right? Every 3 months. And here's your check, 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 here is your check, here is your check, here is your check, here is your check. Right? Why did he say it that many times? Evergreen, baby. He used the term Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth is going to be evergreen. What does that mean? Right? Now, the reason I know this is it was covered by Alpha Investments, right? Which is, he's a guy who invests in Magic the Gathering. Literally like a banker, right? It's wild, right? And he's like, they're saying this is going to be evergreen. Now, what does that mean? That means they will print it forever, right? That means we're not going to stop printing this set. Now, who likes that, right? who hates it. Investors like Rudy from Alpha Invested absolutely hate it because it means they can't charge high amounts of money for the secondary for the secondary market cards because people know they're going to continue to print it, and whenever it's needed they'll print it so you can buy it at retail. Nobody needs to pay $60 for the One Ring. They can just buy new packs of cards and get the One Ring for their D&D campaign, right, to use as an unbound page, the way we're already using Strixhaven as unbound pages of D&D canon hardbacks, essentially, right? So that's the point. And so what I'm saying is, thank you guys, you are incredibly patient. Get this, where we really arrive, right, is by announcing Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings as Evergreen, and that they will virtually never stop printing it, right? It means that the odds of Lord of the Rings becoming a Dungeons & Dragons set has massively gone up, in my humble opinion. And the reason why is, you know what's going to happen, right? Chris Cook is going to fly out to the Tolkien estate every 3 months with another check for $5, $10, $15, $55 million, right? And because he's bringing a check with millions of dollars, right? They're gonna receive him, and every time he goes, he's gonna go, we have this other thing. Like, I know you love having your stuff in official Magic the Gathering, but we got this other thing. Dungeons and Dragons has been going on since 1974. Have you ever seen Stranger Things? Yeah, it's in there, right? Oh, have you ever, any of your kids play with Lego? Yeah, we got a set for that. Any of your grandkids enjoy Funko Pops? Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is in that, right? Like, you ever play Yahtzee? Yeah, we got that. Or like board games, everything, video games, music, everything. It's all over, right? So the reality is, and so the odds of Lord of the Rings becoming an official canon D&D canon set has went up the second they announced that Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth was going to be Evergreen, right? So dungeon masters are going to love that. Dungeon performers are going to love that, because we just want the card. We don't care if it's rare, and we don't care how it goes into a deck and how it plays. We need that unbound page, right? We look at Magic the Gathering cards as unbound pages of D&D canon, right? And so the rarity doesn't matter, right? The mechanics don't matter, right? It's different. Very, very interesting. So I think that the Lord of the Rings, the Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth announcement, they're going to take it Evergreen, massively increases the probability that it will, that Lord of the Rings is going to be a D&D canon set. I think the announcement will come before the end of 2024. And I got it on record right here. You can hold me to it, right? Every single word of that is my humble opinion. I'd love to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.